the eastern skies of Thailand are no longer calm. What began as quiet tension along the border with Cambodia has turned into one of the most closely watched security situations in Southeast Asia. This documentary follows the intense movements of the Thai armed forces, both the army and the navy, as they respond to rising uncertainty and potential threats near the frontier. From the first light of dawn, the Thai Army's ground divisions began reinforcing defensive lines across the eastern provinces. Convoys of armored vehicles rolled through mist-covered valleys, soldiers alert and silent, their radios alive with constant updates. At the same time, naval operations intensified in the Gulf of Thailand, a strategic region where warships, coastal radar, and air patrols now operate at maximum readiness. For years, the Thai-Cambodian border has been a symbol of both cooperation and tension. Villages straddle invisible lines, people trade and live side by side, and yet the land beneath them is contested, steeped in decades of territorial disagreements and political mistrust. Recent reports of unusual troop activity from the Cambodian side have reignited fears that peace may once again be tested. As this situation unfolded, Thailand's National Security Council called for an emergency meeting. Top generals gathered in Bangkok under a cloud of urgency, maps spread across long tables, satellite images flickering on digital screens. Each pixel represented lives, soldiers, civilians, families, caught between diplomacy and defense. The narrator's voice rises over slow-motion footage of ships cutting through early morning waves. When the lines of peace blur, preparation becomes survival. The Thai Navy's First Fleet, stationed in Sattahip, received direct orders to expand patrols near the eastern seaboard. Frigates and corvettes moved in tight formation, their radar systems sweeping the horizon for any sign of escalation. Helicopters circled above, their rotor blades slicing the humid air, a reminder that Thailand's defense strategy depends on readiness, not reaction. At the border, Army engineers constructed new observation towers and fortified outposts. They worked through the night, guided by spotlights and the distant sound of generators. Nearby, villagers watched quietly, uncertain but trusting their soldiers. Local schools were closed, and evacuation drills were quietly rehearsed, just in case. Despite the tension, the tone from Bangkok remained measured. Government spokespeople urged calm, reaffirming Thailand's commitment to diplomacy, while military units continued preparing for all scenarios. The balance between words and actions defined the mood: steady, cautious, alert. Foreign correspondents gathered in the frontier towns, filming long lines of military vehicles moving through narrow rural roads. Every camera captured the same feeling: anticipation. No one wanted conflict, but everyone could sense how thin the line had become between caution and confrontation. Meanwhile, the Royal Thai Air Force increased its reconnaissance flights, scanning vast areas of forest and farmland for signs of movement. Thermal cameras picked up heat signatures at night, sometimes farmers burning fields, sometimes patrols crossing terrain. Each report fed into the command center's growing database, a map of patterns, probabilities, and potential flashpoints. Back at the naval base, Admiral Kittapong Chayasit stood on deck watching the horizon turn gold with sunrise. His message to the crew was clear: we are here to protect, not provoke. That phrase became a symbol repeated across news headlines, a reassurance to the public that defense did not mean aggression. International media began to monitor the situation closely. Analysts debated the causes: territorial disputes, political friction, or strategic miscommunication. ASEAN issued statements urging restraint, while neighboring countries quietly reviewed their own defense postures. In the heart of the tension, human stories emerged: families packing belongings, farmers abandoning borderland fields, and merchants forced to halt trade. Yet through uncertainty, acts of compassion shone through. Thai soldiers were seen helping elderly villagers relocate, carrying supplies to rural shelters. Cameras captured soldiers handing water bottles to children, small gestures that spoke louder than strategy. Over days, the situation evolved from silence to motion. Lines of communication opened between Bangkok and Phnom Penh. Diplomats exchanged calls, envoys traveled back and forth, and behind the scenes, intelligence officers compared satellite data. Both sides wanted to avoid a repeat of past border conflicts, and yet neither wanted to appear weak. The documentary transitions to scenes of radar screens glowing in dim light. Monitors display weather, terrain, and troop positions. Narrator. Every decision made here shapes the fate of thousands on the frontier. In the capital, the Thai Prime Minister held an emergency press briefing. Reporters packed the room, microphones flashing, the national flag standing tall behind him. He reaffirmed Thailand's sovereign rights and the government's responsibility to defend peace. His tone was firm but calm, a leader walking the line between reassurance and readiness. Across the border, Cambodia released its own statement, accusing Thailand of unnecessary mobilization. The diplomatic language was cold, but behind it lay familiar politics. Both nations claimed to seek stability, yet both prepared for contingencies. The video's next segment shows Thai Navy ships maneuvering in formation, a stunning visual display of precision and power. Each vessel moves like part of a single organism, disciplined and silent. Cinematic drone shots reveal their silhouettes against the rising sun, a portrait of deterrence rather than aggression. At night, military communication towers flicker with green light. Inside command centers, operators monitor frequencies, ensuring that every message and every radar ping is accounted for. The hum of technology contrasts with the distant sound of waves hitting the shore. It is a scene of calm under constant tension. Villages near the border appear almost frozen in time. Streets are empty, shops closed, and only the occasional motorbike passes by. Yet in the stillness, hope remains. Locals pray for peace, lighting incense outside small temples, their faith stronger than fear. The film's middle section dives into background, decades of disputes, historical treaties, and the long shadow of nationalism. Archival footage shows leaders shaking hands, border maps being signed, and moments of reconciliation. But the narrator reminds viewers that peace on paper is not always peace on the ground. Throughout the documentary, visual transitions blend real field footage with digital maps and graphics. Lines glow on the screen showing the contested zones, red and blue marking areas of control, and arrows indicating troop presence. It is both a geography lesson and a warning, a reminder that even in the 21st century, land remains the spark for conflict. Then comes a moment of reflection. Slow music plays as the narrator speaks. Borders divide land, but it is fear that divides hearts. For Thailand and Cambodia, the test is not of power, it is of patience. As the film progresses toward its final act, tension gradually eases. Negotiations begin to show progress. The first reports confirm partial withdrawal of heavy weapons from both sides. Field commanders confirm that radar surveillance continues, but the immediate threat of escalation has decreased. Footage shows soldiers smiling, shaking hands with locals, and children returning to school. The skies, once filled with helicopters, now hold only clouds. Peace, fragile as it may be, has returned, at least for now. In its closing moments, the documentary pans across the border hills at dusk. Golden light spills over the forests and rivers that separate two nations bound by history, trade, and shared destiny. The narrator delivers the final lines slowly, with quiet gravity. For now, the frontier is still. But beneath that stillness lies the lesson of vigilance, that peace is not simply the absence of war, but the constant will to prevent it. The screen fades to black. The Thai flag waves one last time before the channel logo, Earth Uncovered, appears with the tagline. Exploring the hidden stories of our world.